that another new day and a great opportunity for you to register as a voter. IEBC is waiting for you. And one of the responses was a question to me. You've been voting for the last 20 years. What has changed in your constituency? Is there any better road? Is there improved health services? Is there better education infrastructure? Are houses more piped with clean water? And you can see that this is a young person, Doka Yunus. At Doka Yunus, that's a handle. We did even a sample here, a simple survey among the young members of our crew. And they were saying they don't even have a presidential candidate. Why should they even register to vote? So yes, there could be challenges about terrain and distances to the registration centers, but there's also general apathy like what was witnessed in 2022, that young Kenyans are simply not interested in that electoral process.
Well, it's a big problem when you have in the spectrum of the players that are supposed to be involved. Either they have taken a backseat or they are running like headless chicken, totally unaware of their function. The IEBC, under the Elections Voters Regulations of 2012, they were amended last in 2023. If you look at Regulation 7, I believe sub-regulation 1G, the IEBC is supposed to popularize, it's supposed to gazette these registration centers, and it's supposed to use electronic media and print media. You tell me which advertisement you've seen from the IEBC telling the Kenyan people the registration center is here and there and wherever. Remember, the regulations were changed because there were people, this is swath of Kenyans that are in the diaspora, for instance, who are lamenting that, look, I have not shifted my allegiance in terms of patriotism. I'm only outside the jurisdiction for a temporary period, and therefore my civic rights have not in any way been vitiated. I've not given up my civic rights. And therefore, the regulations were incepted in order to give them a platform, they too, to be registered. And therefore, the elections voters registration regulations designated or stated that the IEBC can designate a certain country outside, for instance, Uganda, or the US or the UK, wherever you are, as a registration center. Have you heard the IEBC do that? Why would you disenfranchise they who are Kenyans and want to have a voice in the Kenyan nation? Remember, they are sending a lot of money, which is a significant contribution to the economy. So the government is prepared to accept their money in terms of, enabling the oiling of the economy, but they are not willing to grant them their civic rights. This is a failure on the part of the IEBC. So the lack of the publicity in terms of the registration centers is one. Secondly, I believe that still the IEBC has not had a grip, at least the officials has not had a grip on the role and the magnitude of what the IEBC is supposed to be executing towards the election. Having said that, the Kenyan people ought to realize that it is the vote by means of which then you exercise your enfranchisement, your political rights. It is not going on Twitter or on social media and then sending all those overs. It's a time to exercise those rights by means of your vote. And that vote cannot come about until you're registered at a certain constituency, at a certain level, so that then you can say that I do not subscribe to your policies, I do not subscribe to your governance, and therefore I want you out. It is the tallying of those votes. That then we say that this political party or this candidate has won. Until and unless that happens, then we will still be in this conundrum. But let me say this, because there is that concern. Look, I have been voting for the last 20 years or the last 10 or however many years, but I haven't seen a fundamental change, at least at microcosmic, at my level. So you tell me, you explain to me why I should now change that cycle and vote. In fact, I'm not going to vote. So voter apathy is something that the political parties, they themselves, and I want to lay the burden on Honorable Gakuya and his people, to go out there and say that it is time that your voice counted this time. Why should it be different this time? Show them. It is them who you're supposed to say, I have a different set of policies than you are being governed by. Right now, all that we are seeing is one term, whatever. So to an extent, this same president has a point when he says, okay, fine, you want me to go out, but what are you offering in the alternative? So this is the opportunity to show the Kenyan people that, look, make your vote count, because we have this set of policies that will then extricate you, remove you from this economic doldrum, this economic hardship that you're facing. These are my economic policies. These are my health policies. These are my education policies. Then when you congregate all of that, I will be able to be the alternative that you want. I am the option that you want. I want to change your life in the education sector, in the economic field, and I'm going to do this and that and that and that. But it's not happening.
There was a very interesting phenomenon over the weekend where we saw young Kenyans, basically from TikTok, those who engage on TikTok. They came together and it was surprising. They went to help one of their own in Othaya who had an